First of all, I see that you found your glasses. We're all very happy about that. What happened? Did you just misplace them?
Yeah, we were shuttling over here, and I was so excited for the game, I forgot them in the bus. So it took 2 hours, but we got them.
I'm very glad that you found them. Well, now that you've played your first match with TSM, I've got to ask you, what are the biggest differences between playing with CLG and TSM?
Oh, wow. Well, for one, we're the crowd favorites. That's pretty nice.
That's for sure.
And it's just a fresh start, you know? Like, all the kind of baggage that you have from knowing people for years and years. Everyone on this team comes from a different place, a different team, a different time in their lives, and we all just said, this is a fresh start, this is a new team, we're gonna do things our way. So I'm really glad that we get to do things the TSM way.
Well, Reginald is backstage, and I talked with him for a little bit, and he told me that you guys have only had about half of a week to start playing together with this very new roster. How do you think you guys were able to be so successful in your first match?
Oh yeah, we did have only 4 days to practice for this tournament. But I think we're all just really smart and motivated, and we worked super hard in those 4 days. And at first, when people interviewed me, I was like, oh yeah, this new TSM, we're gonna have 2 carries. But it turns out we have 3 carries, because Hanser.
You have a lot of fans here, Double Lift. Well, your first game, you had some struggles. That's to be expected for your first game with this new team. What kind of changes did you make for the second game?
Well, the first game, I think all of us played really bad, and we made a lot of mistakes, especially me. That was a Jinx comp for sure, where Anivia and Tomcans were trying to protect Jinx, and I made 10 mistakes that game, and I was just really thinking what can I do to improve on the next game? And I think all of us were playing more clean, just trying to fight less and take objectives more. So I think we just got our very first tournament game out of the way, and then those jitters are gone for the second game.
All right, Double F, congratulations. I feel like we need a TSM chant here, don't we? Teal TSM. We'll see you in the next round. Chobra, back to you.
Thank you very much, Christine. And of course, congratulations, Double Lift. And I like it. The biggest difference between playing on CLG and playing on TSM is that they are now the crowd favorites, whereas it was a little tough to get that going on CLG. But let's talk about that game, too. As Double Lift mentioned it himself, everybody seemed to clean up a bit after game one. It was definitely a better game, a slower but more calculated game from TSM.
I'm going to have to disagree with that.
Okay.
I think that they lost so much CS in the bot lane, and they took the turret so early that if LGD had played the map better, the game should have been over. They should have focused on Dragon Lane, getting the Dragon earlier, getting that rolling, rotate the top lane, take the top lane. They could have done anything. They could have gone anywhere on the map. And instead what they did is they just went right back to bot lane, and they didn't do anything with that, and then they just chased Orianna around the jungle for 2 minutes. So I was what are you doing?
They did do that. It was a highlight worthy. But
yeah, LGD definitely facilitated TSM getting back into the game due to the matchups, the way they played out early. But I do like what TSM was doing. Obviously, only 4 days of prep, so they seem to have this play where Svensson goes, helps Hanser, he gets ahead, and then we played out the rest of the map. So the matchup was absolutely brutal in the bot lane, though, and then that kind of should have been snowballed upon by LGD, but as Freak was saying earlier on the desk, you can guarantee these games going slower and teams not playing that perfect, and TSM did take advantage of that.
And you got to the point where you have a 4-item Tristana, which is going to be better than a 4-item Kalista. She stopped scaling after the third one, and so, yeah, suddenly you get to get all of the scaling out of the way. You mentioned differences between these games. There's a similarity I really want to point out, though, which is, and Double mentioned it as well, is that Hanser crushed some faces. Okay, yes, he got the first blood gank both times. The matchup gets tilted when you get a kill in your lane, but he solo killed Flame, he solo killed Acorn. This guy's team fighting well. Hanser is one of the best players on TSM. When a lot of people were like, "Sorry, you went. Sorry, with whom? But your top laner is what?" It's no, this guy's actually quite good, and it's really good to see him step up. I mean, we haven't seen him play in 4 months. When he got reverse swept by Cloud9 in the North American Regional. And he comes out and 2-0's LGD, who's still kind of the reigning Chinese champion. It's you done good.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I mean, when we had that talk with Liquid, and he was saying, well, I was impressed by how he handles pressure. Of course, like you said, it's been some time, and people had some questions, and people were like, well, you could have gotten a top lane from a different region, and there's so many other strong top laners in other regions other than North America. But yeah, I have to agree. And yeah, you say that, sure, he got help, but you know, not everyone gets first blood just because they get that gank. Let's be very clear about that.
Yeah, I think Hansard also has a lot of room to grow, and I feel like honestly privileged that I got to play with him while he was still learning and growing as a player. And he's one of those players that I see him play, and every single game I see him get better. There's not many of those players that you see nowadays, and even in scrims or everything he does, he tries his hardest, and he just really puts his heart into it, and I respect that.
Yeah, a couple of those plays as well. Players that were under stress or were afraid of failure would have very often flashed out. You know, that one axe that the Olaf threw, he flashed over that to turn that fight around. He knew, like, he had the calculations in his head. You know, it's like, I can take this guy. But sometimes, you know, under pressure, when you're playing for a big brand like TSM, many players will just, you know what, I'll flash out. I don't die if I don't look bad, you know. But he actually went for the plays to look good. And that's what I like from Hanser here. Playing carefree almost.
Yeah, I mean, he plays to win more than just like trying to play to save face just because it's his debut.
And Devil's actually did that as well. There was the team fight where he like rocket jumps in to kill a guy to get the reset. He did it like 2 or 3 times throughout the game. It's funny because I remember talking to him about playing Tristana, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I'll do that kind of stuff in scrims, but like I never do that in a match. Are you silly? Like I don't want to ruin the game." And no, he's like happy to rocket jump forwards, and by and large, he made very smart choices rocket jumping forwards. At some point, maybe he'll get punished for it, but like all of TSM seem to be like, no, we're gonna go ahead and take the risky plays that are to win, and they worked out. Yeah,
and on the other side of that coin is where Svenskeren and Bjergsen a couple of times stepped a little bit too far out, but I like that TSM's being proactive. I mean, one of the biggest tropes about TSM was that they were this passive late game team that did nothing on the map until they got to the late game, and then somehow Bjergsen would want to win a team fight. But right now, all of them are being proactive. That comes at the cost of, sometimes you misread a situation. Fog of War is enabled for you, so sometimes you walk into your own death, but TSM ready to make some plays.
Yeah.
What I like there is that before, if Bjergsen faltered, the game was done for TSM. It was over. But now it's just like, oh, you died mid? Well, I'm just getting bot turret over here, and I'm solo killing Flame over here, or Acorn. It's like you actually have other players on the team. It's crazy. What is this like?
Yeah, it does seem to just be a healthier mix in the roster where you don't have to rely on that one player and everything's on him. And, you know, Bjergsen talked about it himself before. He's like, well, I'll be honest, sometimes that pressure gets to me. And any player, when they're kind of in that roster, we've seen that happen through and through. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the first match out of the way, and TSM leading with that win. If you happen to miss it, don't worry. You can catch a lot of the highlights and even some extra content like POV VODs over at Plays.tvs, and that will be for the whole weekend. And of course, we've still got those sales going on over at ESL.gg/Amazon IEM. You can get, products for a sale, and you can also try to add to the prize pool here at the Intel Extreme Masters. For now, though, we had a fun game. We had a nice first look at TSM and LGD. Looks like there's still some stuff to work on, but we're going to change pace a little bit. When we come back after this break, we've got that special show match for you between the CEO of Intel, Brian Kazanich, going up against none other than Mark Cuban.